So you may have just bought BookBolt or you're interested in using a puzzle publishing software. Well, today I want to share some stuff to think about before you start using the software. I made this specifically for BookBolt because that's what I mainly use, but I'm sure these tips can help with anything. But keep in mind, the workflow for everyone can be different. There's just some basics, like you need to know the topic, and just be honest, your first book will probably just take you the slowest, but once you get in the groove of stuff, you will get your own system, because at the end of the day, as long as you have the final product, who cares if you have different steps than I do? And you can always use the software as kind of like a checklist and save it for later. Like you'll log into BookBolt and you'll see stuff they're asking for. Just use that as a checklist, and you can also do that for Amazon KDP too and save it as drafts. First thing is going to be the topic. And like if you want to do a word search, what type of word search book do you want to do? Do you want to do a themed one, like a panda word search? That might be a little too sub-niche. Zoo animal word search. Or do you want to do a large print word search for seniors, or whatever the case? And you want to know the size too, like 6x9, 8.5 by 11. If you're doing something that's large print, 8.5 by 11 might be better, or just think about the customer. If you want to maybe do something a little bit more travel related, 6x9 or 5x8 might be better as well. And then a rough idea of the interior and the target audience. How many puzzles do you want all together? How many do you want on each page? This might be different if you're doing large print, might not be as many puzzles if, I don't know, if you want to do something for a different niche. Can't think about it right now. But how many answers on each page? And so how many pages in total? Before I go make the book, I just make a rough sketch in my head. It makes it so much easier later on to, okay, I want 50 word search puzzles. I want, I don't know, let's do 25 crossword, whatever the case may be. And then I'll write down like the individual pages, so then I know when the solutions start as well. Also, do you want all the answers in the back of the book? Which for most puzzles, that's the case. Or for some puzzle types, you have the answers like right after the puzzle. And also, is this going to be a series of books? You don't have to know this up front. Some people do from the get-go, because you can always change this later. Also, do you want to include anything before the puzzles, like instructions? The best way to figure this out is, every audience is going to be different. Just do your niche research. And if so, how many pages? You can do this in BookBolt, or I've heard you can do it on Canva and merge it into a PDF like ilovepdf.com. If any of these pages are going to include the title or the author or publisher name, you will want to create that before creating your interior in BookBolt. Or if you include the instructions that you need the author and title name in Canva, you can worry about that later on. And then next, you may need to gather the information for the puzzles. For example, if you're doing a word search, you're going to want the word list, and BookBolt will have this information about how to format the file. It's going to be, once you open the project, at the very bottom, there's an example CSV, but pretty much it's just a one column, one tab CSV with all the words. You can put like the title on the top and then the words. That's just an option that you have in BookBolt. It makes it so much easier if you just do a CSV from the get-go from formatting purposes. Trust me, I've done it in a Word file before, and then I transfer it and it's just a mess. It's a complete mess. So also you can design your cover in BookBolt. I have never done this option before, but if you choose that option, what do you want to put on your cover? So if you're designing your cover in BookBolt, you definitely want to get your title. I've seen some people on the cover do the subtitle and the author name. Personally, I just do the title. I think one or two of my puzzle books might have the subtitle on it, but I usually don't include that. And just get a rough sketch of the cover design, and you want to also gather your graphics. Again, I've never done my cover in BookBolt, so I don't know the best way to approach this as far as the graphics and stuff like that. Now, some common mistakes that I've seen and that I've done myself. People do it, but I think it is awful to include a QR code to scan for the answers. I know it saves pages, which makes you more money, but I think that's awful. And the reason is people want to get off screens. Maybe some people don't even have a smartphone to scan the QR code to get the answers. And when you force them to do that and get back on their screen or whatever, I think it's a nuisance. Personally, I like word search books. I like puzzle books. If I were to see a puzzle book and QR code to get the answers, I would not buy it. But that's just me. I see tons with QR codes. But there's negative reviews about it too. If you're doing a word search, I've seen negative reviews about repeated words. So try to avoid that. And now as far as Book Bolt goes, if you are doing a word search and the words are of different length, your puzzle sizes are going to be different. So I'm trying this right now and so far it's working, but I haven't published the book yet. I have the longest word be the exact same number of letters. For example, the longest word of all the puzzles in the book I'm currently doing is 7 letters long. I picked 7 because ChatGPT was like, oh, that's a good average. I'm like, cool, I'll go with that. And I've mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I use KDP Dashboard as a loose checklist and I just continually save it as draft. I use that as a guide, and once I'm ready to hit publish, I have everything. I just hit publish. So even when I have a topic, I will create a title like word search for seniors, and then I add to finish in the subtitle. And something I learned in this video while sketching it out, according to ChatGPT, the most profitable books have 15 to 25 words per puzzle. I have no other facts about that. I just thought that was something cool that I learned.